Hi, this is Coach Criz, and this is a special program that we've come up with for the state championship game in 2015. We're very, very proud of our Highland Springs Springers. They meet the Stonebridge Bulldogs. And after a little bit of study of this team, I got to know a little bit about Stonebridge High School. They've been coached the entire time they've been open, since 2000, by Mickey Thompson, who was very, very successful at Parkview High School, among other places. And Stonebridge High School, this will be their 6th state championship, to give you an idea. Now, they've only won one championship, and that was in 2007, but a very, very successful program. Part of that success is their use of the single wing offense. So I wanted to put up this little formation here that you'll see Stonebridge in from time to time. And you'll look at this and you'll say, if you like X's and O's, you'll say, Coach, this is what I see on TV on Saturday. This is what I see on Friday night when I go to football games. And certainly the Springers have seen a lot of good spread offenses. Well, what's different about Stonebridge is they'll run out of this formation. And their quarterback, and they'll get into a 3 wide on one side and a 2-by-3 formation in other situations, and they'll actually back the quarterback back 8 yards, so he looks like he can punt. And again, the reason they do that is to change the tempo and give their quarterback, who, by the way, is the son of Mickey Thompson, Joe Thompson, his youngest child, and his previous Thompson sibling has won the state championship in 2007, so they've got some incentive there. But that's not what we're talking about as far as what the single wing is. And part of this is we're going to have to, my partner Gary Hess is doing this video right now, and part of what we've got to do is, I have to do with Gary, is Gary's got to follow the path of the football. Our engineer and spotter, Alan Fisher has to find the ball, and Alan's going to have a heck of a time because he likes to pride himself in figuring out who has the ball on decisive play fakes. Anyway, so one of the true components of a single wing offense, which was invented by Pop Warner, became popular in the 1920s, and to give you a perspective, historical-wise, in 1952 was the last time it was used in the NFL. But one of the things you'll see is an overbalanced line with this. So one of the things, I'm going to go ahead and put the split in right here. So we've got our 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. This is where it gets interesting. One of the things I didn't mention in the spread is the quarterback, who in the old days wasn't even the quarterback, and the tailback can receive the snap from center out of this formation. The blocking back, who originally in the 1920s was called the quarterback because he was in the middle of the formation and could call out the signals, he's in that position there. And then what they do from here is they put their wing back right here, and that gives you the 4 guys in the formation. And we've got an extra guy on the line of scrimmage here who may or may not be a tight end, may or may not be eligible. So here we go. And I've got 12 guys on the field. No, I don't. Yes, I do. All right? So we'll put that right there. We'll leave that right there. Okay? See, I'm getting confused, and I'm just doing this on the fly. So the Springers have to line up to this thing. So what you've got here is a monster in misdirection. And keep in mind, the snap can go to the quarterback, the snap can go to the to the tailback. So, wanted to show you a quick play that the Springers may see. And this is basically just a power play, but it has a lot of fakes. So the snap comes to the tailback directly. Well, when you got the quarterback here, who is number 4, always taking the snap, the defense is trained to look and react to what he does. So he's not getting the snap, so he instantly comes around and heads out on that path. Before he goes, though, the tailback spins, which is a big component of the single wing. He spins to make his fakes. And it's not like you're trying to make yourself dizzy. It's one step, one step, one step, replacing as you go along. And these kids have been doing it since Little League. That's why the program is so successful. And so he does his little turning deal and fakes the ball to the quarterback who takes it out that way. On the snap, the wingback comes around, and as the tailback turns, he fakes to him. And if you can't completely disregard him, because they'll actually drop back and throw the ball to the wingback who has this side of the field to himself, because we've emptied it of all the eligible receivers. So he keeps turning after those two fakes, and then he runs up into the hole. And what's happened here a lot of times with this blocking back is he'll come into this area and block there. Sometimes he'll go out and make a replacement, but almost always you're going to have a backside guard or tackle pulling and kicking out the guy in this gap right here. Usually the seven, I think you would call that a 7 technique technically. So that's what the Springers are up against. Now, I mentioned to you that Stonebridge is 1-4 in state championship games. One of the things that I will tell you about the Highland Springers defense is they match up very, very well for this, because I believe Lauren Johnson and his defensive staff, Devon Simmons, his defensive coordinator, will not get into a lot of situations where they'll make sure they don't show any weaknesses. They'll make sure they shift their defense correctly. But they're going to teach fundamentals, and they're going to let their athleticism speak for themselves. So that's how you beat this defense. You don't penetrate too much with the defensive line, but you dictate to the blockers. And the other great thing about the Highland Springs defense is they can match up one-on-one with receivers. So you decide who the eligible receivers are, and you lock down with them, because Stonebridge defeated a team that beat them by 3 touchdowns in the regular season. They defeated the team when they got their quarterback back in the semifinals last week with play-action passes out of this formation. So it looks like a big mess, and before all you football aficionados start saying, well, you missed this, you did, you glossed over this point. This video was done at great personal, professional risk by me. I just want to point that out. And we wanted to have some fun, but I wanted to let you know what's keeping those Springer coaches, especially on the defensive side of the ball, awake at night. A great counter to this is that Springer offense with the short passing game and DJ Anderson. DJ Anderson will keep this formation off the field. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and turnovers aside, I believe it's going to be, it could be literally the last team with the ball, as we've seen in previous Stonebridge games. Stonebridge has lost 3 times, I believe, 2 or 3 times to the Phoebus Phantoms. To give you an idea of an athletic team that's fundamentally sound, that lets their players do the work. That's the key to the game on Saturday. Enjoy the game. It's been great to spend a little bit of time with you during the week. We're talking about Fox Sports 910 State Championship, airtime 11:30 on Saturday. We'll see you.